Guys, let's talk about paying with your palm. Palm payments. What's it? How does it work? And why it's not taking off as it should? I say that because we all see the video. When you stop this video, go check palm payments. It looks cool. But then look at the shops where it's at. And it's been around for several years, 4 years to be precise. So let's talk about the evolution. We'll start with that. Okay, so who am I? So I'm the CEO of Orukka. Orukka is a smart payment ring. Okay, so when you talk of the front edge, we are there. I've been there for the last 2 years. So we started this 2 years ago while working in banking. I love rings. Okay, I watch all episodes of Lord of the Rings. I watch every movie where there was a pinky ring. So you know yourself, The Godfather. The Wall Street, the earlier one with Michael Douglas. Again the Goodfellas. There's a lot of movies with pinky rings. I love that. I love wearing them. So that if it turns out then that you can do payments with your rings, I was happy to jump into it. In fact, I started with my own money, and now we have a few friends that also helped us to launch this. So we're global. So anywhere you are in the world right now, most places, sorry, I should say, because we work with MasterCard. So wherever MasterCard is, we are there. So if you can make a payment with MasterCard in your country, go with a ring. Okay, if you're a POS provider, if you're a POS agent, if you're a small business, receive money with your ring. So tap to receive money or tap to pay. Those are my two rings I have here. I also have some cool ones. This is also a payment as well. It's a payment bracelet, so you tap to make payments as well. So we're on the forefront of these things, and obviously it's a big commitment. You have to love what you're doing. You have to love the tech behind it. So that's the other point. So as a CEO, I love rings, and that's why I've put a lot of my money into this. It also means then that a customer that comes to me loves what they're doing. So customers that love rings love us because they actually go ahead. They have to measure their ring. Okay, if you have a payment card, right? So you always have a lot of this in your wallet. Any bank can provide this. So a bank would just offer, again, it takes 30p, if not less, 25p, sometimes even less in some countries to produce a ring. You just produce millions of these, give it to any customer that wants it. They want to customize it. I actually have a metal wallet here from Revolut. No advertising them or anything. They're one of our partners. So free ad for you there. But it's still metal, right? So that's the next level. So whoa, if you want to get it like really, really cool or fancy, then you can get a metal ring and it helps you as well because it's strong, it's cool. Amex also had something cool as well. But the point is those are customization and that's where it stops. All those, like even the metal rings is about metal cards are about $1, $2 if at all. So it's not expensive. And you can easily custom these things and throw them out. Throw millions out, doesn't matter. But if you have to do a ring, it's big. It's a significant commitment. You have to hold the right sizes, okay? This ring here only works in this finger. If I put it on this finger, it falls out, okay? Now imagine then if you have a million customers, how many rings do you have? So banks don't want that. Banks are like, nah, thank you. So they work with us, and again, we work with about 250 banks right now. So if your bank doesn't provide, but if your bank is not on our app, we would try and get them on our app. So that's important. I say all that to say that it's a significant commitment to create a new tech. The CEO who's starting that has to be committed, has to love the product, has to love the tech behind it, and be ready to put their own money in it, okay? Because you lose money. I mean, the first customers we have, they can tell you when you order this ring, we give you the ring immediately. However, it takes a few months to actually get the money back, especially if you have, so the first day we launched, I think we had to order the rings in advance. We had to get the right sizes. You don't know which size someone's going to come to you with. So you have to order these things in advance, and that's a lot of money that you have to put on the table before you get the right customer who likes the color pink. So these are in different colors. So you have a customer who's color pink in 5'6", size 6. That one customer is who you're waiting to come in and actually buy the ring. And you don't have to sell it to them because it's on their fingers, it's their size. It's very complex is the point I'm trying to make there, such that, if a bank or if anybody wants to bring out palm payment, it's a significant commitment to put this together. Let's talk about the evolution, okay, because that's where things are going. So you can see generally where things are going now. Cash, started this way. Okay, this is $20, I think, yeah, $20. Okay, this is a piece of paper. Look how long it is. Actually, size of half my face. Now imagine if I had 100,000 of this in my pocket. It's crazy to hold around and walk around with. People say cash is king, okay? Someone's going to say that in this comment. Cash is king. Yes, it is, but this suffers inflation, okay? This is also risky. Every time I carry $1,000, goodness, If that gets stolen, it's gone. There's nothing you can do. However, if it's on a card, then you can have 10,000 of that on a card walking around with all this in your wallet and no one knows what's in it. Okay. If anyone takes this, there's nothing they can do with it other than tapping to pay. Okay. So that's where the transition from cash to mark stripe came in. So these are mark stripe, right? So this mark stripe also then means that, especially in the US, I mean, that's where US still do it, But most countries then came up with this because you could just swipe to pay. Okay, so it became very famous then because you can turn around and from 100 to 10,000 or 20,000 you can again, if you have $100,000, you're not traveling outside the US with that, right? Because they'll stop you straight away. Anti-money laundering rules, risk of trafficking, so they stop you with that. In fact, anything over 10,000, you can't travel with it. Guess what? You can travel with 10,000 on a card. Okay, so that's where cards became more important. One, the convenience of walking around with a card was better than that. Okay, so that was the trick around this, to make sure then that it's convenient to walk around with, and you can walk around with more of this. And the next level came in, I think, around the 2000s, where then it became, oh wait, you don't need this. You can just go ahead and get contactless. So that's where this came up. I'm hiding my card number, sorry guys. But you see the contact there. So the contactless then helps because then you can turn around and make payments by just tapping to pay. Okay. So again, this is the top people on this were EMV. We call them EMV chips. So these chips got invented, right? And what this does then, it allows you then just put the card in or just tap the card to pay. Again, talk of convenience, because now you don't have to swipe the card and hope that no one, in between actually steals or tampers with a mark stripe, right? When you tap into pay, it's a lot more convenient, it's a lot more risk, averse there. That was quicker, and that was a convenience coming. So you see where we're going, right? It's more convenience with time, okay? And then mind you, there are two sides of this. So in addition to you having the card, you also need a card reader to actually read the card, okay? So you need a merchant that is ready to lose money, okay, to buy the machine. Then you tap the card, okay? So either way, when you go in, you think your bank is free. No, your bank is not free, because they actually charge the merchant. And you think the merchant is free? No, the merchant is not losing money because they increase the price too much and then you pay, right? So you're actually paying, not the merchant as you think, and it's not free from your bank. So that's important to know that, okay, so things started moving there from cash to card swipe, from card swiping to EMV contactless payment, okay? And then the next point, I think, then is the tap to pay. I think that's where the phones came in. Okay, so the phones came in then because, hey, instead of walking around with this massive box, look what I've got in terms of my wallet. This is heavy. If you can carry this, if you can see this, right? Just carrying it, it's got 12 cards in there, right? It's huge, it's heavy. I don't remember when last I walked around with this, maybe just my driving license if I'm traveling. Hardly do I walk around with this, right? Again, a few years ago, we moved into this, right? So with this now, your card becomes tokenized. So we talk about tokenized payments, right? So MasterCard were really good at that, and then they passed it on to Visa. Visa became good, and then Apple Pay and Google Pay came up, where they can tokenize your card and put it onto a phone, right? So effectively, your card lives on the phone. But the risk then becomes, if this phone is stolen, your card is stolen, because it's one-to-one, okay? But then in between when you're transferring payments, paying, is tokenized so that no one can pilfer in and actually steal that information from you. So what will happen then is, if you're making a payment, okay, and someone goes in, all they see is a token. That's why it's called tokenization. What you see is just a token number. That number is what's passed from the merchant to MasterCard Visa, from MasterCard Visa to your bank, where they check the funds is there, and then they withdraw the money going back through the network. The network in this case is always MasterCard, Visa, Europay, Amex, JCB, and any of the other rails, payment rails. So all that to say, again, it's important to know that, hey, since you have tokenization, then the next step of tokenization became the rings. So we're still fairly new. But what that does is, this already uses what you currently have. So in this case, our rings, I'm not sure if you can see this, our rings are effectively a chip as well on the inside of the ring. Okay, and that's how it works. So it's basically a chip on its own. This is a bank on its own. It's a fintech. This is effectively the card on a ring. So for us, when you go in, that's why I say we work with banks, because this connects to a bank. So the bank actually funds the ring. We connect to your credit card. The credit card funds the ring. This ring, that's why we're fintech. We're not a bank. We might become a bank in the future. We need to talk about that. My customers decide that. But the downside of becoming a bank then is because you're locked. You then need to raise capital. You need to raise the price of the ring, and it becomes expensive for the customer. If you're a fintech, all you do is just receive the money. You don't actually hold the money. You receive the money, and the customer then makes payments. So this became cool in terms of the tap to pay, because now with the phone, you're tapping to pay. Okay, you tap to pay. But you need to open the phone. You need to make sure you're not in the rain. It's not waterproof. Again, most phones claim to be, but you know yourself, you're not going to go swimming with your phone. Okay, but with this, you can go swimming with this. You can go for a run with this. So that became more convenient. Okay, the convenience becomes in because hey, if you're tapping to pay and you have to open your phone to pay, or you double click, with this you just tap to pay. Security wise, you can unblock it on the phone. Okay, so that's important because hey, it takes out the whole element. I see all that to say then when you go into the next step, which is your palm. So imagine the transition from this to this. It's much quicker. Okay, but here's the issue I have. And I say this again, in future we might, we definitely allow our customers have this in place. Okay, but here's the point I have with this. In the future, in my palm, if you look at this palm, right? Look at this. You see there are ridges. Okay, just look at your palm. You're going to see what I mean. There are ridges between your palm. So each ridge is independent and is basically what drives the payment. Is the authentication. But there are two parts to this, right? Which you need to understand. And this happens a lot in China. It's a lot easier in China to do this because your ID and your fingerprint is all linked. In fact, linked to your credit card, linked to everything. So it's a lot easier. So you've given the power to the state, you've given the power to the merchant to do this. So that would mean that first you need to register. With this, we're using MasterCard. So that would mean that MasterCard, Visa already have a network that is in place. So all we do is we connect to that. Okay. On the business side, a lot easier as well because you connect. But with this, you don't need to. You need to actually make sure you save your fingerprint somewhere. Someone somewhere has your fingerprint. That's the risk there. And that's why it's hard to come up there. Because how are you going to come up and make sure that you've saved the fingerprint? You make sure as well that nobody breaks into that system and takes your information and keeps it. You also make sure there's no abuse. You make sure there's no tampering. You make sure there's no man in the middle, right? Oh, and then don't forget, right? It's a lot harder to scan these grooves. So when you go, you have to make sure you're putting it the right way, which again, if you looked at this, if you're tapped to go, you'd have gone. So I think again, it's still early days. The convenience is not really there yet. Hopefully it will be. Hopefully the uptake goes up and we'll provide it to our customers. If you want it, we'll get it done for you. However, I think the convenience still needs to be addressed. Like how quickly is it to tap to pay?